We're back with the Screen Team, being joined by Jerry Foster here this evening, and it's all brought to you by Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, where Walmart is next door to us. Also, Fearless Social and Poplar Bluff Drywall. If you want to check out reviews of this show we're doing in particular, our past shows, go to our website at screenteampb.com. That's screenteampb.com. This next film we're going to be doing is a movie called Roommates. And Jerry, this is a film that I did not get a chance to see because it's almost impossible to find. I looked everywhere for it, man.
Yeah, you know, in hindsight, when you asked me to pick 3 movies for this, I probably should have found something a little more easily attainable. I did kind of pick I don't want to say sleeper because it wasn't a hit.
But it was a movie you think that would be available.
I mean, I saw it at the local movie theater, so I mean...
It's called Roommates, by the way. We haven't said that. Yeah. But the movie's called Roommates.
Yeah, it stars D.B. Sweeney and Peter Falk. It's a story about D.B. Sweeney's character. Both of his parents died when he was a kid, and nobody in the family wanted to take him in. So his grandfather, who's 70 at the time, Peter Falk, takes him in.
Yeah.
It was neat to see him do something other than Columbo, because quite honestly, that's all I've ever seen the guy do.
Yeah.
Oh, just one more question. So, he's bald in this movie, but it's a really touching story. As he's a cantankerous little old fella, and eventually the grandson Sweeney, he goes to med school, becomes a doctor, and through that he's rooming with some Asian guys, which Grandpa calls communists. You know,
he's old school.
He's old school.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a comedy drama.
Yeah.
I love comedies, but every now and again, I don't mind a tearjerker, and it becomes a tearjerker. Eventually, the grandson gets married. Peter Falk can't take care of himself. They're talking about putting him in a nursing home, and then he remembers Grandpa taking him in, so he takes in Grandpa.
Yeah.
And he has kids, and he has this wife, and his wife and him and the grandfather don't get along at first.
Yeah. Now, is the wife played by Julianne Moore?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And she ends up dying in a car wreck.
Really?
Leaving him a widower.
Oh, wow.
He goes into a deep depression, the grandson, and almost has the kids taken away from him. Julianne Moore's mom in the movie is fighting to get the kids because Sweeney's character is not really taking good care of himself. And one of the little shenanigans Peter Falk does is it pours juice or something like that. I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I've seen it too.
Yeah.
I really need to watch it again. Pours like sugar in her gas tank so she can't, So again, he's a cantankerous little old guy.
Yeah.
And they're Polish. They're of Polish immigrant. What's the word I'm looking for? Polish descent. And Grandpa was always a baker. He was always working. When he couldn't find work, he'd be looking in the paper. Where do they need a baker? So that was a big thing he would do with his grandson. Yeah. And even as he got older, and then he eventually sort of gets the grandson back into, life is good mode. And one night he's out. I think he has an emergency call from the hospital or something, and Grandpa by then has become buddies with the communists, and he's out bowling with them, and he ends up going to the hospital to find out he's got cancer.
Yeah. I
believe it is. Yeah. And which was unnerving for him because his wife had died from cancer. And at the end of the movie, Peter Falk, he's 107 years old.
Oh my goodness!
And he's laying in his hospital room, and the grandson's there, and he's like, we're going to get you back in your feet. And he grabs a newspaper, and they start looking at ads for bakers and stuff. And it's just it's the first movie I ever cried in.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you find out about this movie? Was it something you guys saw when it came out in theaters, or?
Yeah, I saw it when it came out in theaters. I got dragged to it by a girl I was dating. I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And I remember, ooh, tough guy. I can't cry at a movie, and I turned away from it. I'm like, wiping tears at the end. It's a very endearing movie. Yeah. Some people said that the story wasn't strong, that the characters weren't strong. Personally, I don't care. It brought out emotion in me, and that's kind of what I look for. Does it keep my attention? Does it make me think about how important life is? And as a family-oriented type person, it just, for me, it was really. It was an endearing movie.
I was getting ready to ask you that. Is this a family type movie for people?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. The language is mild. I can't remember what the rating is. Maybe PG.
Yeah.
Maybe PG-13. I don't remember. I think it was PG.
This movie though got nominated for an Oscar.
It did
for best makeup.
Yeah.
You were talking about Peter Falk's makeup and stuff like that. Those have been pretty impressive.
You know what's weird? I've went to the IMDb, International Movie Data, or IMDb, and some of the armchair critics try to pan that aspect, and it's like, what do you know, man? This thing was nominated because of the makeup. I thought it was believable. It looked good. They got the liver spots right.
That's Oscar worthy. If you can
when you can get the liver spots looking real. You're Oscar-worthy in my book, man.
Well, man, I really wanted to see this film, and it's a hard find. I looked at Hastings, I looked at Family Video, Netflix, Amazon Prime. It's a tough one, but hopefully it's something we can find down the line and definitely check it out. But the movie is called Roommates, and if you can find it, good stuff.
Good luck.
Good luck. Coming up after the break, we're going to review The Full Monty. It's next on KWOC.